All right, in this video I'm going to walk you through contributors and users and how to set them up and what they are and how to make them work in your business. So anything to do with your business account details, you're going to click on the little person up here and then you're going to go business account, and that's going to take you into all the details of your own blog, your media business here. To access your users, you're going to go into the deeper menu here, just like throughout the site. You're going to go users. And here you'll have a list of everyone who has accounts in your system. You can edit them by clicking the cogwheel. But to add somebody new, just like throughout the system, we're going to click on the plus sign. So first of all, I'm going to go through users with you. So if you have interns or people working for you and you want to set up an account for them, you're going to come in here and you're simply going to fill out their information. So I'm just going to go K Forrester. I'm going to use a different email here. You're going to set up a temporary password, so you can put that in, and then they can change that down the road and when they log in themselves. You can set up the country and time zone that they need to be in. And then the last thing is permissions. So you have a number of permissions here. Administrator means they have access to everything. Typically, you're going to want to keep this for yourself. You have power user. They have access to everything, but they can't do stuff like delete your website by accident or turn off your something major like that. But they can access all the blog post submissions. They can edit pages. They can do everything else. They just basically can't delete and destroy your business. Users, they have a little bit more restrictions. They can't delete blog posts or delete anything on the site, but they can still add blogs, edit the site, and things like that. And the last one, so if you're filling this person in, let's finish this up. So we fill them in, and I'm going to say, you know what? They're just an intern. I don't want them deleting any blog posts or deleting a vendor or anything like that. So I'm going to just give them user, and we're going to click save. So then you could send them their info to log in, and they'd be added into the system. So they can log in using the same link that you do, cms.l-media.net, and they're going to come in and then they have their own login, so they can do things through their account. You don't have to share accounts. Now, if you want to set up contributors, you're going to come back to do the exact same thing. So you're going to go plus sign. You're going to fill in their detail, but the one key thing is understanding the difference between your users and contributors. Now, users, the power users, administrator, they're all people who work for you. But a great business strategy, I should say, is to involve contributors and work with key people in your industry and in your region who are really great movers and shakers and who are really great at writing and can help provide content for you. So you want to look at, especially wedding planners usually are really good, or venues, or different photographers. And you want to connect with them, and people will, I'll give you a free ad if you provide content for me on a monthly basis or some type of commitment that you develop. Now the great thing is that as a contributor, you can set them up so they can log in and they can create that content within the site, but that's all they can do. They can't see any of the other blog posts, they can't see your website. All they can do is log in and create a blog post just like you would do. They have all of that access to create the blog post, to figure out how they want to display the images, to add the text, and then you can see it and you can jump in at any time and help them. You could write a paragraph, they could write something, you could work together and collaborate on it, or they could do the entire post and then they're just at the end, just like you would normally turn the post to live, or they're going to send it to you basically, and you're going to get a notification, and they can see it. Or you can jump in at any time, which is nice. You have that full control. So contributors are people who are going to provide content to you, but they are also businesses. So they need to have a profile already in the system. They need to be a photographer who, you've got a profile in the system for, or a wedding planner. They're already in your system. And you're going to fill in their information then here. I'm just, again, using a test thing. You're going to fill in the email they want to sign in as. You're going to set a password for them. Oops. This probably needs to be longer than that. You're going to set the basic details, and you're going to set them as restricted. And then you have a couple options. for most of our media companies, it's going to be that they're a content contributor. You can also have people who are restricted, so the only thing they can do is manage shop orders that come in, or the only thing they can do is edit the website, so you have a copy editor or something like that from another place that's not really working for your company, but they're going to be doing something. You could give them access to just edit the website. But in terms of these contributors we're talking about, different businesses who are going to partner with you to help create content, you're going to choose restricted, you're going to choose content contributor, and you're going to click save. And you're done. So then you can send them their login, you're going to tell them where to go. A lot of your businesses should, if they're photographers, they've potentially already used the system because they've submitted weddings or they've logged in and edited their profile, depending on how you have things set up. But there's two key things you also need to remember with contributors in terms of the CMS. One, it's a really great idea to develop a business strategy with them. This is the part side. Make sure that they're providing content and you're really working with them and providing something for them in return, that advertisement, and then they see the value in working with you and creating this partnership. So two, don't just do a million of these. It's really great to have a strategic plan behind it and work with specific people. Now, and then the CMS side is what I want to go through. There's a couple key things actually that you need to know in the CMS. One, if they are a photographer and they've already logged in to the system, it's going to log them in as ABC Photography or whatever business it is. So they can easily switch to your blog or to your publication by clicking up here on this person. And then they have different options. You can see I have a couple different options I can click. So if they were signed in as ABC Photography, they would just click on Love in the Rockies, and that's going to take them into Love in the Rockies, where they can blog for you as Love in the Rockies. So that's just one thing to remind them in case they come in and they're like, oh, I don't see blog, I don't have blog anywhere. All I have is submissions and my vendor profile. Be like, oh, you need to click up here and make sure you're in our website. The second thing, remember, they're not going to see your own blog posts. All they are going to see is their own blog post, anything they add to your system. So they can't see what you're working on or what you're doing or any of that details. That's all hidden and restricted to them. The other thing you're going to need to remember is you might need to give them a little bit of a lesson on how to blog in the CMS. So you're going to want to make sure that they understand, how to create beautiful layouts with the photos, or you can do that for them. It depends on how you're going to run this. But they need to have a basic understanding of how to use the CMS so that they can get the most of it when they're blogging and they can take that off your plate. Or you can have it set up that they dump all the photos in and they add text, and then you help them, you help them with the post as well. Because at any time you can see the post and you can jump in and work together on it or take it over from them. And it cannot go live until you approve it and you set it as live. As soon as you take over it from that final stage, they'll send it to you saying it's in final draft mode. Then it'll come to you and you'll be able to see it, and from that point on you control everything as well. So as soon as they set it into final draft mode, it's basically like saying, I'm ready to send this to you, I'm ready for you to look at it, and then you take over from there and they can't access or change it anymore as well. So once you get that in final draft mode, they can't go back in, after it goes live and add secret links in or do something. So that access mode, and once it's live especially, they can't go back and edit things or write something terrible or put links in that wouldn't be appropriate. So you have control as well. So that setting up the contributors is really easy. It's a matter of clicking the person and adding their info in. But I also want to give you a little bit of background of what contributors are and how they can help your business. And it's important to remember to choose strategic people and work with those people. And so you can really use this system to develop and allow them to have that access to take it off your plate. So it's not just them sending it in a Word document and pictures. They can set up a lot in here and really have some ownership of it, but yet they're totally restricted and they can't do anything or see any of the things that you are working on, which is really nice. And that covers contributors and users for you. Thank you.